Welcome to the bold. Kenyans in their numbers sent petitions to the International Criminal Court ICC to intervene on the extrajudicial activities going on in the country. And the reports emerging that looping the ICC was a game changer in addressing the abductions trend that was actually going on in the country. I want to say for the record here, it was not politically viable to sustain a narrative in public of saying, I don't know, I'm not responsible, but at the same time, lecture parents to take care or rather be responsible on the side of the children, and also saying in the campaign trail that disrespecting the president sometimes will attract such treatments. So if what would have been easily to sustain is if you say you don't know and you don't condemn them. But if you condemn and say you don't know, then that is not viable. An exclusive report is the president realized and convened a crisis top security meeting to address what was looking like a full-blown crisis. Two factors that prompted this: wary of Monday protest that will turn full-blown, there was need for the abductions to end, or rather the fellows to be released, whether if it was under the security agencies or under some private fellows. I've seen some people running several narratives that the guys dropped in Rwanda were on their way, were moved from Uganda to Kenya, or were they were on their way taking to the residence of Okiya Mtata just to link, because the last he was seen with Okiya Mtata. Someone in Kitale was supposed to be linked to Natembeya. Billy Mwangi is believed, some people are saying, he left Nyeri, and all those narratives. But the protest that had started on Monday, led by the women, could have been part of gauge testing, and maybe it would have turned full-blown. However, looping of the ICC to intervene is reported to have triggered the midnight crisis meeting before the president left the country on Monday afternoon to Ghana. It was in the interest of the security agencies that the issue of abductions that was boiling public rage, the need to end the anxiety. I've seen people talking about someone organized abductions to cause anxiety, and then after causing anxiety, so what? So what? Because I saw Kenyan women, of course, converging in Nairobi, Mombasa, and some other towns, protesting against these abductions. And they were actually met by police force. Second factor is this: the fact that all abductees have been released on the same day indicates a common denominator, that the abductor could have been one person. The abductor was one. And the way they have been released, they've been released from, like let's try to imagine those who abducted guy in Ndiru, the guy in Kikuyu, the guy in Embu, Kibet in Nairobi. If these are different fellows and they don't know each other, how did they coordinate that all the 5 be released the same day? Okay? Now that is why we are saying the move to release the abductees, and we thank God for them being found alive and safe, was coordinated from a common command. Oh. And if the abductor was an outsider, as many would want us to believe, then the security agencies would have detained them and questioning them to unearth the truth. The curiosity that Wanjiku is made to believe, that curiosity we would have seen it amongst the security agencies. If the police are seeing these fellows for the first time and they're being received the same with the family, then they will also be curious to interview them and detain them. They would have been released today and then detained, or rather arrested for more questioning. And so there are multiple reports that ICC wanted to activate human rights watchdog institutions to document activities of the constitutional overreach. And this was sending shockwaves within Ruto's camp. So why the ICC was a game changer is something I would want us to interrogate further in this analysis. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click notification bell and like our videos, and I want to say thank you very much for supporting our podcast. We believe that the more we grow, you subscribe, you'll be able to receive our daily, objective, analyzed politics. So here, we analyze politics and policies and question the dominant narrative. Why did the ICC loop? It was not sustainable. When Kenyans realize, okay, police doesn't know, the government doesn't know, everyone say it doesn't know, so what do? We go to ICC. It was causing some trouble. And these are the dangers. This is why the ICC loop changed things around. The pronouncements by President's handlers, Sudi, and the team messed there. UDLA was really messing the country. When you listen to Sudi saying, nikiwa minister in 3 days, and again he says, no one goes one term. So nyi mtarukaruka, but no way. Then on some end you hear someone saying, we are the people that made Moi serve for 24 years. We can make Ruto serve for 24 years if the abductions, if the disrespect continue and all that. Now, those statements, I normally tend, sometimes when I listen to them, and I tend to doubt the assertion that William Ruto is hands-on. This is normally said that, oh, President Ruto is hands-on. Some of the statements made by his handlers, so some of those statements, sometimes you wonder whether they have been, maybe the president himself has accepted that. Now he realized that if those documentation, the ICC is coming, then those are some of the things that will be on the fray. Now, this issue is also grabbing the attention of the international community, and this is detrimental to the country. There is something that happened, and these abductions, it really got attention of more than 4 international media houses had been covering. And I even saw when they were released, there was, every minute update from in the international media about the fact that these fellows had been released. Now, attracting that international community is very detrimental to the country out there. Remember, even as we speak, someone was asking how Raila Odinga wants to be the chairperson of African Union Commission, even if in his own land, the young people are being abducted, and the president, who is his friend, he cannot even help solve that locally. How about if it becomes a continental problem? Some people are, so the optics were not looking good for this story. Much as locally, the political class were just thumping, especially the ruling class were just thumping, but the optics were not looking good even if they come to Kenya. Now the other issue is the panic on the security agencies. It is over time. Sometimes when something happens, there is that aspect of collective responsibility, but the state can sometimes use you and dump you. And when ICC comes calling, then what will stop the state from sacrificing 2 or 3 people on it? So they understand very well that that kind of panic is also going down to the security agencies. How about if from nowhere IG Kanja, who is now under pressure to resign, we saw some members of the clergy saying the IG Kanja should resign if he doesn't have an answer. If he decides then, if I can't answer this, I resign. That would have been a big hit, and that would have really exposed what's happening. Remember when Japhet Koome was forced to resign, according to what the statements by Rigathi, that have never been challenged by anyone in Kenya Kwanza, so sometimes you take them as they are because no one challenged that assertion. Then it would disorient the security sector. And that will really have some effect. Even if ICC is here and then there is protest, how do you want the police to behave? And they realize, oh, so and so are in the country and they are, they are collecting, they're making some documentation on what we are doing. And so I think there was every need that the ICC loop really changed things in the country. Thank you.